The grand doors of Lux Couture, the city's most exclusive boutique, gleamed under the afternoon sun, reflecting a scene of bustling wealth and elegance. Passers-by admired the ornate gold lettering on the glass, a symbol of affluence and prestige in this part of the city. Inside, the atmosphere was one of calm sophistication. Soft classical music floated through the air, mingling with the faint scent of jasmine and expensive perfume. Mannequins draped in the latest fashion stared silently from every corner, their poses frozen like sentinels watching over the latest in luxury trends. A figure stepped through the door, drawing a subtle wave of attention without effort. She was tall, her silhouette commanding but graceful, dressed in a sleek, custom-tailored black jumpsuit that hinted at her wealth but also her taste for understated elegance. Her skin gleamed with a smooth, rich caramel glow, and her eyes sparkled with a sharp intelligence and confidence that made it clear she belonged in this world. This was Amara Wells, a name whispered in the city's elite circles not only for her fortune but for her poise and business acumen. At just 32, Amara had built an empire in tech and fashion, breaking barriers and expectations along the way. Yet, today, even she couldn't shake a flicker of unease as she walked through the boutique. Amara wasn't here on business, nor was she shopping for the usual gala or corporate event. Today, she sought something more personal, a gift for her sister's upcoming birthday. She hoped to find something perfect, something that would convey love and admiration. The boutique attendant, a tall man with a perfectly sculpted jaw and a practiced smile, approached swiftly. "Good afternoon, Ms. Wells. Welcome back to Lux Couture," he said smoothly, bowing slightly. "May I assist you with anything special today?" Amara nodded. "Yes, I'm looking for a dress, something elegant, but not too flashy. Something that says strength and grace." The attendant smiled, already pulling a small tablet from his pocket to show her the exclusive catalog. They moved toward the private fitting rooms, an area reserved only for the most discerning clientele. These rooms were not like ordinary fitting rooms, they were private sanctuaries with plush velvet chairs, soft lighting, and full-length mirrors that flattered every curve. The walls were soundproofed, offering both discretion and comfort. Amara chose a few dresses, each more exquisite than the last, and disappeared behind the heavy velvet curtain of the first fitting room. The attendant waited patiently outside. But unknown to Amara, this visit would mark the beginning of a nightmare. The fitting room door clicked shut, and Amara began to try on the first dress. The fabric was smooth, the cut perfect, and the mirror reflected a woman of power and beauty. She smiled, the image of the confident entrepreneur she was known to be. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Amara paused, a slight chill running down her spine. She shook her head, blaming the old wiring, and continued changing. Unbeknownst to her, a small camera had been hidden in the ceiling, its lens trained on her every movement. The man outside, who introduced himself simply as Jared, was not just a humble attendant. He was part of a shadowy group with motives darker than the boutique's luxurious facade suggested. Jared's phone buzzed in his pocket. A message flashed briefly, "Target secured. Proceed with extraction." Amara was about to step out of the fitting room when the curtain was yanked violently open. Jared grabbed her arm, his grip tight enough to bruise. "Excuse me, sir. Let go of me," Amara demanded, her voice firm, but her heart raced with panic. Jared's face was cold, expressionless. "Ms. Wells, you're coming with us. No one will know." Fear surged through Amara, but so did determination. She twisted free, bolting toward the main floor. Her sudden dash triggered alarms, not the usual security alarms, but silent signals sent to the boutique's underground contacts. Store patrons barely noticed the commotion, engrossed in their shopping. But the staff scrambled, closing doors and drawing curtains. Amara's mind raced as she spotted a side exit. She lunged for it, but it slammed shut before she could reach it. Trapped. She backed into a corner, eyes darting for help. But the boutique's security team was unusually slow, and Jared reappeared, blocking her path. "We're taking you somewhere safe," Jared said, but his tone was anything but reassuring. "What are you talking about?" "Let me go," she shouted. Her voice was drowned out by the sudden appearance of two more men, both dressed in black and wearing masks. Amara's instincts kicked in. She looked for anything she could use as a weapon, but the boutique was designed for comfort, not defense. Jared moved closer, and Amara's heart thundered. This was no robbery. No random attack. This was calculated. And she was the prize. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Amara, her phone buzzed on the marble counter near the entrance. Her assistant, Jasmine, had been trying to reach her repeatedly. Jasmine's unease grew with each unanswered call. Something felt off. The story is just beginning to unfold. Amara is trapped, but why? Who wants her, and why? And what will she do to survive? Jasmine's fingers trembled as she stared at the screen of Amara's phone. The buzzing continued, 10 missed calls and counting. Her gut twisted. Something wasn't right. Amara was always quick to respond. "Where are you, Amara?" Jasmine whispered, her voice cracking with worry. She quickly dialed security at Lux Couture but was met with vague responses. "Ms. Wells is with a private client," or "she's currently unavailable." Jasmine knew better. Meanwhile, inside the boutique, Amara's mind raced, heart pounding like a drum. The fitting room, once a place of luxury and comfort, had morphed into a cage. The three masked men kept close, their movements silent and deliberate. "Who are you?" Amara demanded, voice steady despite the growing fear. Jared stepped forward, his eyes cold behind the mask. "That's not important. What matters is that you come with us. You have information someone wants." "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, trying to keep her composure. She scanned the room for a chance to escape, her mind searching for a plan. Jared shook his head slowly. "We know about the Wells project." Amara froze. The Wells project, her latest tech innovation, still under wraps, designed to revolutionize digital security and data privacy. Only a handful of trusted colleagues knew about it. How did they find out? "We can make this easy or hard," Jared said, voice low and threatening. "Come with us willingly, and no one gets hurt." Amara's eyes flashed with defiance. "You're not taking me anywhere." She lunged, pushing Jared, but the other two men closed in quickly. They were skilled, trained. She barely escaped their grasp, but a sharp pain struck her side as one grabbed her arm again. Just then, footsteps echoed in the boutique's hallway. The three men froze, tightening their grip on Amara. A sharp female voice cut through the tension. "Jared, what's going on here?" It was the boutique manager. A woman in her 40s, impeccably dressed but with a cold edge in her eyes. Jared relaxed just enough to respond, "Nothing, Maria. Ms. Wells is with us." Maria stepped closer, eyeing Amara with a strange mixture of familiarity and suspicion. "Amara, darling, you're safe. Everything is under control." Amara's breath caught. Was Maria part of this? Or was she truly oblivious? Back outside, Jasmine wasn't waiting. She called Detective Harris, an old friend and one of the few people Amara trusted implicitly. "Detective, I think Amara's in trouble. She's at Lux Couture, but something's wrong. The staff are acting strange. Please, you have to help." Harris's voice was calm but urgent. "Stay there, Jasmine. I'm sending backup now. Don't confront anyone yourself." Inside the boutique, Maria's gaze locked onto Amara's. "You don't have to be afraid. We're protecting you." Amara didn't believe her. "Protecting me from what?" Maria's eyes flickered, a shadow crossing her face. "From people who want to steal your project. From people who want to see you fail." Jared glanced at Maria, then back at Amara. "You're not just a wealthy beauty, Amara. You're a threat to powerful forces. Amara swallowed hard. This was bigger than she'd imagined. Suddenly, the lights flickered again. A siren blared softly somewhere deep inside the boutique. Jared cursed. They're coming. The three men tightened their grip, dragging Amara toward a back door marked employees only. Amara struggled, but the pain in her side worsened. She realized they had drugged her, just a little, enough to slow her down but not knock her out. Her mind raced, how to turn this around. At that moment, the boutique's main entrance burst open. Detective Harris and two uniformed officers rushed in, eyes scanning rapidly. Police! Everyone stay where you are! Harris shouted. Jared froze, the other two men spinning around. Maria's face drained of color. Detective Harris, this is a misunderstanding. Harris wasn't buying it. Step aside, Maria. We're here for Ms. Wells. Jared growled. She's ours. One of the masked men lunged, but Harris was ready. A quick move, and the man was on the ground, restrained. The other man hesitated, then fled through a side door. Maria stepped forward, hands raised. I can explain. Outside, Jasmine watched anxiously as police cars swarmed the boutique. The city's elite gossip mill had already caught wind of the commotion, and a crowd began to gather. Inside, Amara sat on a plush velvet chair, shaken but unharmed. Harris knelt beside her. You're safe now, Ms. Wells. But we need to know everything. Amara nodded slowly, still catching her breath. They know about the Wells project. Someone is trying to take it, or destroy it. Harris's face hardened. We'll get to the bottom of this. You're not alone. But the truth was deeper, darker, and far more dangerous than anyone imagined. Because whoever wanted Amara's project wasn't just a petty thief or a rival business. They were part of a network willing to stop at nothing, including using the boutique as a trap. Amara's life had just become a battleground. Amara's breath was still uneven as Detective Harris led her out of the plush fitting room into a quieter, secured office at the back of Lux Couture. The boutique's glittering luxury had faded into the background, replaced by sterile walls and harsh fluorescent lighting. You did well to stay calm, Harris said, handing her a bottle of water. Amara accepted it, eyes sharp despite the lingering adrenaline. It wasn't just a random attack. Someone's been watching me. Harris nodded grimly. We believe so. This wasn't just about robbery or kidnapping. Someone wants your Wells project, badly enough to risk exposure. Amara swallowed. The Wells project was her brainchild, a cutting-edge technology designed to encrypt and safeguard data in ways no current system could. It was supposed to change the industry, and her life, forever. But she'd kept it secret, even from most of her closest allies. So how had these men found out? Back in the main store, Maria paced nervously near the entrance. Her immaculate facade was cracking. Jared, now restrained in the security office, sat silent with an inscrutable expression. His eyes flicked to Maria, then away. Detective Harris turned to Maria. Ms. Alvarez, you said this was a misunderstanding. Care to explain your role in all this? Maria took a deep breath. I've been with Lux Couture for nearly 10 years. I know everything about the clients who come through those doors, especially the high-profile ones like Ms. Wells. She hesitated, then lowered her voice. But lately, things have changed. I don't know who exactly is behind this, but there's a network targeting wealthy women like Amara. It's more than just theft, it's personal. Harris raised an eyebrow. Personal? How so? Maria swallowed. There have been rumors, whispers about a group that uses high-end boutiques as hunting grounds. They lure targets into fitting rooms and then trap them. It's almost like a twisted form of ransom or intimidation. Amara's stomach churned. But why me? Maria looked away. Because of your project, your influence. They want to stop you before you change the game. They're powerful, connected. Harris paced, processing the information. We'll have to dig deeper: surveillance, phone records, your recent contacts, Amara. Anyone who might have betrayed your trust. Amara nodded slowly. There's one person I've been working with closely, a consultant named Marcus. He was helping with the Wells project. Have you noticed anything suspicious about him? Harris asked. Amara frowned. Not at first. He's brilliant. But lately, he's been secretive, evasive. I never suspected. Meanwhile, at a discreet location miles away from the boutique, a shadowy figure sat in front of multiple monitors displaying live feeds, some from Luxe Couture, others from various upscale boutiques around the city. The figure's fingers danced over the keyboard. Phase 1 complete, the low voice muttered. On the screen, the image of Amara struggling in the fitting room replayed in slow motion. Now, to move on to Phase 2. Back in the police station, Harris and his team began reviewing hours of security footage from Luxe Couture. The cameras had caught snippets of the masked men's movements, but their faces were obscured. One thing was clear: this wasn't a random act. It was meticulously planned. Jasmine sat beside Amara, holding her hand. You're not alone in this. We're going to find out who did this to you. Amara appreciated the support but felt the weight of responsibility heavier than ever. She was a symbol now, not just a target. The next morning, as dawn painted the city in soft pinks and golds, Amara received an encrypted message on her phone. Stop the Wells project, or next time, it won't be just a fitting room. The message was chilling. She showed it to Harris, who frowned deeply. This is a warning. They're escalating. Amara clenched her fists. I can't back down. Not now. Days passed in a blur of meetings, investigations, and tense moments. Amara moved under police protection, her life suddenly a fortress of guarded entrances and constant vigilance. Yet, despite the security, the invisible threat loomed. One evening, as Amara prepared to leave her penthouse for a closed-door meeting with potential investors, her phone rang. No caller ID. Amara, a distorted voice whispered, you're closer than you think. But time is running out. Before she could respond, the line went dead. Detective Harris immediately dispatched tech experts to trace the call, but the source was masked behind layers of digital firewalls. We're dealing with professionals, Harris said grimly. They know how to stay in the shadows. Amara's mind flashed to Marcus, the consultant she'd been suspicious of. Could he be involved? Or was this a larger network? She decided to confront him directly. Marcus arrived at her penthouse the next day, looking calm and collected. Amara, I heard about what happened. I'm so sorry, he said sincerely. She looked into his eyes, searching for any sign of deceit. Marcus, I need to know, have you been honest with me? He hesitated. Of course. Why would you doubt me? Amara's voice dropped. Because someone knows everything about the Wells project, and it's no accident. Marcus looked away, conflicted. There are things you don't understand. This project, it's bigger than either of us imagined. Before she could press further, her phone beeped again, another encrypted message. Trust no one. The next trap will be deadly. Amara's breath hitched. The stakes had never been higher. As the sun set, casting long shadows across the city skyline, Amara stood at her penthouse window, looking out over the world she was determined to protect. The fitting room had been the beginning, a trap set to ensnare her. But she wouldn't be caught again. Not without a fight. Amara's penthouse felt colder than usual that evening. The city lights glittered beyond the glass walls, but inside, a heavy silence pressed on her chest. The encrypted warnings, the attempted kidnapping, and the betrayal looming in her inner circle, all threatened to unravel everything she'd built. Detective Harris was already in her living room when she arrived, a serious look etched across his face. "We traced the call," he said, pacing slowly. "It came from a burner phone. No direct leads yet, but there's more. We've uncovered a pattern." Amara sat down, gripping the edge of the velvet sofa. "What kind of pattern?" Harris paused, then pulled out a folder thick with files and photos. "This isn't the first time fitting rooms in luxury boutiques have been used to trap wealthy women. Over the past year, there have been at least 4 other incidents, all similar in method, all with victims connected to tech or finance." Her eyes scanned the faces in the photos. Each woman poised and powerful, yet now shadows of fear. They take them in private, and no one hears from them until a ransom or demand is made. But some victims never return. Amara's heart pounded. "And no one's caught them?" "Not yet," Harris admitted. "The network is careful. They use insiders, employees, consultants, even managers, to facilitate the traps. We suspect a syndicate." A knock at the door interrupted them. Jasmine entered, holding a tablet. "I think I found something." She handed it to Harris, who zoomed in on a series of security videos hacked from several boutiques. "There," Jasmine pointed. "See that man? The one who left the back entrance just before the attack on Amara." Harris froze. "That's Gregory Kane. He's linked to several white-collar crimes but has been off the grid for months." Amara's pulse quickened. "Who is he?" "A fixer and enforcer for a larger criminal organization," Harris said grimly. "If he's involved, we're dealing with serious players." That night, Amara's phone buzzed again, a new message, no sender. "We control the shadows you walk in. Give up the project, or the next trap won't fail." Amara's fingers trembled as she stared at the screen. She knew what they meant. The fitting room was only the beginning. She turned to Jasmine. "I'm not giving up. But I need to know everything. Who can I trust?" Jasmine's voice was steady. "You have us. We'll fight this." The next morning, Amara arranged a meeting with Marcus. She needed answers. When he arrived, his demeanor was strained. "Amara, it's worse than you think." "Explain," she demanded. Marcus revealed a truth she hadn't expected. The Wells project isn't just a tech breakthrough, it threatens to expose financial corruption embedded in powerful circles. "That's why they want to stop you." Amara's jaw tightened. "So this isn't about money alone. It's about control." "Exactly," Marcus said. "And they have eyes everywhere." Meanwhile, Detective Harris coordinated a covert operation to surveil Gregory Kane's known associates. The police were closing in, but the syndicate was elusive, always one step ahead. Days later, as Amara returned to Lux Couture, this time under heavy security, the boutique manager, Maria, greeted her with a forced smile. "Ms. Wells, we're doing everything to cooperate," Maria said. But her eyes betrayed something else, fear. Amara nodded but felt the weight of suspicion. Was Maria truly an ally or another link in the chain? The story of Amara Wells was no longer just about a wealthy woman caught in a trap. It was a fight for survival against a hidden enemy that lurked behind the glitz and glamour. And the fitting room was only the first battlefield. Amara's world had narrowed down to a constant loop of meetings, investigations, and sleepless nights. The once familiar sparkle of her life dulled by shadows of doubt and fear. Despite the police presence, her every step was shadowed, not only by security but by uncertainty about who truly stood beside her. Maria's polished smile no longer fooled her. During a private meeting at Lux Couture, Amara decided to confront the manager directly. "Maria," she began, voice calm but firm, "I need to know, what don't you want me to see?" Maria's eyes flickered, but she held her composure. "I'm just doing my job, Amara. Protecting the boutique and our clients." "Are you protecting them, or someone else?" Amara pressed. Maria's facade cracked for a brief moment. You have no idea what's at stake. Before Amara could respond, Jasmine's phone buzzed urgently. Detective Harris says we have new intel on Marcus. Amara's breath caught. What about Marcus? Jasmine glanced at the message. He's been linked to communications with Kane's syndicate. They think he might be working for them. The room went silent. Later that night, Amara sat alone in her penthouse, the weight of betrayal sinking in. She had trusted Marcus, the man who had helped build her dream. Now, he was a possible traitor. Her phone chimed again, a text from an unknown number. You trusted the wrong people. We're watching. Amara's hands trembled, but she refused to let fear consume her. She reached out to Detective Harris. We need to move fast. If Marcus is involved, he's a danger to all of us. The police arranged a controlled confrontation with Marcus. Under surveillance, Marcus arrived at a cafe, unaware of the officers hidden nearby. When Harris and his team approached, Marcus's expression hardened. I'm not your enemy, Marcus said quietly. Then explain this, Harris replied, showing intercepted messages between Marcus and Gregory Kane. Marcus's facade crumbled. I never wanted it to go this far. They forced me. Amara watched from a distance, her heart breaking. Forced how? She whispered. Marcus's voice was low, desperate. They threatened my family. I had no choice. The revelation shook Amara, but it also ignited a fierce resolve. The syndicate wasn't just after her project, they were using anyone and everyone to get it. She wasn't just fighting for her business anymore. She was fighting for her life and the lives of those she cared about. In the days that followed, Amara, with Harris and Jasmine, devised a plan to expose the syndicate and cut off their network. It was risky, dangerous, but necessary. Because the fitting rooms would no longer be traps. They would be the battleground where Amara took back control.